Hi, everyone, and welcome to Empowering Exceptional Brains, the podcast where we dive into real conversations about neurodiversity, interviewing parents, individuals, and professionals to explore the challenges, strengths, and unique experiences of diverse learners and thinkers. I am your host, Maayan Glazer-Koren, an educational therapist, ADHD educator, and ASD certified specialist. Through my private practice, Educational Therapy LLC, my team and I support kids and adults with executive function and learning differences as they work toward greater confidence and independence. This podcast is a collaboration with Wiz Therapy, a platform that connects individuals with providers and helps businesses streamline their services to better support neurodiverse communities. Our goal is to share strategies, stories, and insights to help families, educators, and professionals understand and empower every kind of learner. A quick note, if you are ever concerned about your or your child's well-being or mental health, please reach out to your doctor or qualified healthcare professional for additional support. In case of emergency, please dial 911. For mental health crisis, please text 741-741 from anywhere in the United States. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Here is a quick disclaimer. The podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. The content shared on this podcast is not intended as medical, psychological, or legal advice and should not replace professional care from qualified healthcare provider or mental health professional. If you have concerns about your or your child's well-being, learning, or mental health, please consult with your doctor, therapist, or another licensed professional. The views and opinion expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the host or the podcast. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledged and agree that neither the host nor guests are responsible for any actions you take based on the information shared.
Okay, so I am super excited because today I am hosting someone very special. Um, I had the honor to hear Robert Ahdoot multiple times in conferences and in webinars, and he also has a TED Talk about math and anxiety, and he's also the author and founder of Yay Math, and an author of a fantastic book, One-on-One, 101, The Art of Inspired and Effective Individualized Instruction. Robert, welcome. Thank you so much for coming to this podcast. How about you going to introduce yourself and tell us what you do, how you do it, and what
I was,
inspired you to do it?
yes, ma'am. Wow. Mayan, thank you for inviting me to your show. I've been looking forward to this for so many weeks. I just love your work. I've listened to your program a few times, listened to the array of guests that you've had. And I said right before we clicked record that speaking to educational therapists is like the home team for me. I feel like in my heart, I am one. Without, let's say, formalized training, just on the job training. And the fact that I can hang with you and your ilk is incredibly valuable to me. I feel very honored. And how I got started, is that what you wanted? I can
Yeah.
give you a story. I was thinking about this as we were approaching this day. It actually is very formative. Is that when I was in eighth grade, I'll tell you this story, and it actually permeates to today. When I was in eighth grade, I was a pretty average math student. I wasn't exceptional. I wasn't very terrible, but I just did my work, put my head down, and did my job. The teacher saw something in me and asked me after the first quarter, "Would you like to go to the honors class?" I had never thought of that. I never understood what that meant. But I just said, yeah, I mean, I do all my homework. I guess I'll just do my homework there. And then when I got into the class, I was entirely in over my head. I was behind. I didn't know what they were doing. I was overwhelmed. And the teacher offered to stay after school with me for several weeks to get me caught up for, let's say, 45 minutes a day. And my dad came to those sessions as well. He left work early. So he went to work early and left work early just to drive back to the school and listen to the conversations that my teacher was giving me. And then that migrated to me and my dad working on problems at home. And I know we're going to talk about dyscalculia, for example. I know that's on the docket today. And I compare my experience as a eighth grader figuring it out with what it must be like for students today. This is the thread. My dad's an engineer. He's retired now, but he was a very active, world-class engineer. And we would put a word problem down on the page and spend an hour on one problem, not in a boring way, but just discovering it little at a time. And he was so curious. And I still remember how he held his forehead in his hand while he was thinking, like the way he would just be so ponderous. And you compare that to a student today, which is just in a state of agitation and fight or flight and adrenaline. And these are polar opposites. And so when I was in that relaxed, curious state, all the magic happened. And so I understand at an intimate, deep level what it takes for a student to be successful. And it has everything to do with that root feeling at the core of how they feel while they're doing the work.
Absolutely. It's the emotional piece with the relationship that we have with learning.
Yes, it is. It's the emotional piece. And people shortchange that. We're still timing math multiplication quizzes in my own daughter's school. I know they mean well. I know they're trying to, get them to have practice, but I respectfully disagree with timed multiplication quizzes. Oh, I was able to do 20 in 1 minute, as if that's an accomplishment. I think this is counterproductive, for example. Even and especially if the teacher's intentions are beautiful and pure. All right, gang, you could do it. No pressure. It's okay. It runs the risk of losing the thread that math is discoverable, is a journey, is a an array of connections in the mind that take reflection and joy to get to. Um, and that if you're just in like snap your fingers mode, 7 times 8, 56. I think that's counterproductive. Um, and so it still goes on to this day, which means we have work to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made me think like I'm listening to you talking and I'm thinking about, my children and the way that they learn math. And also my own experience with learning the multiplication, right? And how like measuring it like with timing is it's not fair because for kids who are slow processing speed or
Hmm.
just kids that need a little bit more time to make that, to get to the answer, like the minute that you are timing them and you are using this to compete with your peers, you're already creating stress in the body
Yeah.
that affects learning. So there is a
Yes.
good stress and there is a, not so good stress. Um, and it's a very thin line when we
Yeah.
are
Yeah. You
talking
could
about
tip
it.
into that. You could tip into it quick. And credit where credit's due. My daughter's middle school this year has just adopted standards-based grading. I'm thrilled for this. So they're not doing the classical grade system. Which inherently provides the time for students to learn at their own pace. And if they don't get it, it's a not yet mentality. This is what life is. This is like we
Hmm.
are all not yet creatures. I thankfully thank the Lord that we are not, I'm a not yet creature. I mean, there's, yeah, a litany of times where I messed up at things that whether it be personal or at a job, but I figured it out because I had time. And so we we have to afford young kids the same courtesy, a chance to discover.
I agree. And it feels like the curriculum is just rushing them through. And that's true for every subject. Um, Also, I'm thinking about um, my son. He's also in middle school. He's in eighth grade, and he has a really good math teacher. And I will say why in a second, because she um, taught math, I don't know, 20, 30 years, and in the same middle school. So she's there for a while, and she does
Yeah.
the honor math. And I kind of noticed, and when we know when they do like the parents, they come to the school and they do the parenting of, the first school year,
Yeah. Back to school night
back
thing.
to school night, right?
Yeah.
So she's talking, she said, your kids might come home and be mad
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
I always give them the answers, but I
Mhm.
also give them wrong answers. And then they need to argue with me.
Mhm.
Why is this a wrong answer? Why is this a
Mhm.
mistake?
Interesting.
So I love that. She teaches them to be curious. She teaches them, like it's everything you said, it's the discovery. And
Yes.
they need to
Yeah.
argue between each other. They also work in groups to get to the answer.
Yeah.
So she gives them the time to do that, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, there is a growing movement that is against learning as a passive act. So those of us doing this work now know that, and the code word for this is engagement. We say
Hmm.
these words that the students must not be passive. When I'm starting to work with the student, let's say one on one, parents express hesitancy for us working on Zoom. And I understand because they this harken back to this COVID era. Okay. Okay, next problem. It's not that. It has to be like your friend or you said it's your um son's teacher. Is that what you
Hmm.
said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your son's teacher who is actively getting the students to pick up the mantle. And the beautiful signal for if that's working is if the students stumble over their words trying to articulate their argument. That's the best. That's how you know it's working. It's when it's sloppy,
Yeah.
when they can't say it. They'll say things like the x-axis is 5, so it's positive, so it's to the right. And so I could say something like in response, yes, I know exactly what you mean. You mean the X value is 5, right? Because I know what you're trying to say because the X axis is this horizontal bar that's measuring how far you're going, but the X value is a number, which is 5, which is, you're right, by the way, it is positive and it is to the right. So you see, sandwiched between my feedback right there was giving the student a chance to make a statement, fumble, bumble through it, highly positive feedback on the other end. Yes, yes, I know exactly what you mean. That is correct. And you also mean blah, blah, blah. So offer some feedback. You mean that it's not an axis, it's a value. Teaching a little, and then not like basically acknowledging at the end the other thing that he said right. Yeah, yeah, 5 is positive and 2 are the right. Yes, you said all those things. And I'll say that so intentionally. Like I'll go back and say, yes, I heard you. 5 is positive and it is to the right. Yes. I don't need to say I heard you. I don't need to, but I need to because they're so they that would encourage the next. Now let's talk about the y-axis, like that now we're learning, now we're in this flow state, and so having them talk it through is really important. I You could even get them to do it in their bodies too. We could talk about that. There's some fascinating stuff too, because I know you're do a lot of somatic work yourself, you just mentioned.
Hmm.
You want to talk about math learning in the body?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, this
Because
is
I do
for
that, I
the,
do that with
yeah,
like language processing, because
yes,
and I love what you said about um, you don't need to say I heard you,
yeah,
but this is like also you it is about building relationship
yes.
with
I'm
your student.
smiling. I'm smiling ear to ear. Yes, it is about that. You're like implicitly, passively through through the dialogue. There you go. Truck outside. Through the dialogue, you're nurturing the relationship because it's the relationship upon which they'll fall backwards into, like the trampoline on the circus. They'll fall backwards. Okay, the net's there, boing, and then back up onto the trapeze. They have to know that it's there. And that's actually, I never used that metaphor before. It's really a beautiful one because the trapeze artist knows that the trampoline is there, they could almost incorporate it into the act. Like, oh, I missed the bar. Yeah, here I go, falling backwards to my back, boink on the trampoline, right back up to the bar. And you could even walk through it. I've done this process. I would say, right, this is what happened a minute ago, right? Remember, you meant to say three, but you're saying what? They're like negative three. Right, right, right. It's positive three. You did this a minute ago. See what it's like? I'm keeping tabs on what you're doing. Oh, okay. So you're my trampoline, Mr. or Miss Teacher. You're my trampoline. You did this a minute ago and you fixed it, and now you'll fix it again. And so the relationship behind the learning, it's not only essential is easy, it's what they crave. They crave it. And we could go on about the new AI stuff and why they would crave it even more. But if they don't crave it anymore, if they are comfortable not having that human relationship with learning, then I'm done with this work. I won't have nothing left to say. But they do, and that's why we're talking.
That's true. That's true. I do have some follow-up questions for that, and we're
Yeah,
gonna go back to the somatic piece in a minute.
yeah,
Um, how do you support, um, I would say students? I don't know. You know what? Let's stop for a second. So for what is the age group that you work with mostly?
I'm pretty much elementary. I could go, I do second, third grade, all the way up to adults.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So many of, our clients, I would say, have maybe not all of them, but some will have retrieval challenges or working memory
yeah,
challenges. So when you are like reflecting back what they say, it's like what they do in therapy, right? They will
yeah,
say
yeah.
it back to you
Sure. Right. You said it, so here it is
like years
again.
ago.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's kind of neat that you can, oh yeah, it's not just keeping tab. It's just like you are saying it again
yeah,
to take away the cognitive load, right,
yeah,
and the working memory that many students challenge with, or those who have slow processing speed um, will have challenges to retrieve it. Um, and maybe they'll again, and that will relate to also working memory. They will forget what they just said.
yeah.
So it's really interesting, like how you do it. So this is why I want us to kind of step away from this like what tutoring is, because this is
Sure.
not so much tutoring as scaffolding
Yeah.
and understanding where the gap is
And how
and
their minds
how
work, how their minds work. Yeah,
exactly, because
yeah,
tutor will take you um, to the grade level, right? They will help you with your homework, they will do this kind of work, and some that are have a lot of experience doing this for so many years, they will understand that we have to go deep, right?
yeah.
Like the
Mm-hmm.
story that you said with your father, to the curiosity
Yeah,
about that math problem,
yeah,
to the basic.
yeah. So, what are you asking about retrieval as terms of like
Yeah,
how do you account for that?
yeah. Sorry,
Um,
I was like going in, I was spiraling in
no,
my
I
own
get you.
brain.
No, no, I get you. No, I was listening also intently, so I had to go back to that. I'll tell you the short answer and then more elaborative. The only way that you can go back as someone as the educator to say, remember this thing from a minute ago, implicitly is calling upon a victory that they had. It wasn't you made this mistake a minute ago and that's it. It was, let's say you made this mistake a minute ago and you figured out what to do from it and then you corrected it. And now you're making the same mistake again. Do you recall what you did? I would still argue that those people with learning challenges, neurodivergence, retrieval issues, let's say historically, at least need to be afforded the chance to, in that session, let's say, in that exchange, to remember what they did to solve the problem. And I know that the second time they remembered what they did will be more difficult than the fifth time they remembered what they did. And the fifth time will be, let's do it to the positive. The 10th time they remember how to fix a problem will be easier than the fifth time they remembered how to fix a problem. Let's say this concept of a double negative, negative, -4. I am not happy to see you, is what I would say. So that's the short answer, is that we should imply only call upon a mistake that they were able to fix successfully. So if they were able to do it before, they could do it again. Now the fun part, how to make that more likely that they'll remember things. And it has to do with expanding the styles. I am not happy to see you. I'm so happy to say that to students over and over again. Again, it strengthens the relationship. It's fun. It's funny. And so they'll remember on a language level, on a conversational, relational level, what -4 means. And then we could turn it to a picture, right? So we have a math reasoning thing that negative means positive. We have a human relational, not happy means happy, or a weird way of saying happy. Then you could go to a picture, draw it on a number line, and do these like bouncing things. Show here's -4. What is the opposite of this? What is not this? What is not? And then you go to temperature. It's so fun. Let's say it was -4 degrees, super cold. What do you think the opposite of that would be? What do you just random guess? And then we're having these, we're kind of exploring missions. And then let's say they liked the not happy to see you thing. And then you could reinforce it again and again and again. And they'll feel like their thinking matters. That's another thing I really wanted to articulate today. There's so much stigmatization of these types of learning challenges, but inside it is like a vast maze of beauty in the brain of some of these, the way these students think. And let's say a student makes a breakthrough. Let's say we're having a moment, we're talking. I will say to them, I love watching you learn, so that they feel like you're a witness. And I say to them, because it's true, because when they're like, oh, yeah, yeah, and it's like now they see what one half looks like on the page, half of pizza. They know what half a pizza is, so they know the fraction one half. I'll say, I love watching you learn. It's better than Netflix,
I love it.
and they have that same reaction, because they don't want to feel like they're othered. No
That's true.
one does. It's not fun. But now if they feel like unique and that someone can see them and they can flourish in those conditions, uh, they're back to themselves. And we're away from anxiety and we're away from shame and we're back to what learning is, which is curiosity and fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like, I didn't share, I shared it with you off the recording, but to our listeners, I just want to say that I do have a learning disability in math. And
Mm,
I was not diagnosed. Only when I did my job, I was like, was able to understand, oh my goodness, because I was so anxious. And when I saw math, and I felt stupid,
hmm.
and I was
Sorry.
put in the lower groups for math.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the opportunity to understand. And I remember my mom getting me tutors, but you know, it was so hard. Even with the tutors, they didn't understand because it wasn't known back then when we were kids. I mean, people knew about dyslexia, they knew a little bit about ADHD and autism, but they did not know that there is such a thing, as a learning disability in math,
Right.
and not to that degree, and and I don't think teachers even knew about it at
Of
all
course.
in
Yeah.
the 90s and 80s. And and then in high school, my mom um, got me a really great teacher. He was a high school teacher, but he also took me under his wing, and he was my math tutor. And from, you know, from a student who got 60, I got to get 80, and I finished high school with 85 or 80, I don't remember.
Wow.
But
Big jump.
what I loved about him is that he made everything funny. He was teaching me with cabbages and rabbits, and he made
Yeah.
stories,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
just worked because for
Yes.
me, I'm a very auditory learner and visual learner. So for me, it's very strong for me both. But concepts where it was like philosophy, theory, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And when he took the time, like you said, when he took the time and sat with me and engaged and showed me, and I mean, teachers that I had before, I felt so frustrated. I was crying. I didn't want to keep seeing them. But him, I looked forward to our tutoring sessions because
Yeah.
he knew how to teach math. He knew how to make it engaging. And we are
Yeah.
going in circles and we're coming back to the same place that we have to get, everybody needs to get a chance to show that they can do it. Right. And I love saying that too. I love saying that to my students. I just love seeing how your brain works. I just enjoy sitting here and listening to you because I do writing and reading comprehension, and because this is my strong suit, right?
Yeah.
And but the fear of math, or I don't know if it's fear anymore, it's just like
Aversion.
aversion or I'm not good enough.
Right on. Yes. Yeah.
It's still there. I mean,
Inadequacy. Yeah.
yeah, and the fact that it math is amazing. Math is life, and we need math in our lives
Yeah.
to function, to measure, to do all these things, right? So I like what you said about going back to not saying what they did wrong, but actually reflect what was successful
Yeah.
when they did it before. And that's how we build self-esteem. That's how we help with frustrations. Because when we are frustrated, we have a shutdown. That's it. We're done. There will
Yeah.
be no communication happening. So to feel comfortable with math, especially for those who have those challenges, if it's dyscalculia or math anxieties, and I'm just kind of taking us to our next kind of topic with that, is
Yeah.
that how um, we can help um, even adults, that experience math anxiety. What do you do?
Yeah.
How do you support them?
Yeah. That's a good transition because so much is said, and we can get into what to do when we get into that anxiety state. Um, I believe the real question before that is how do we stay out of that state,
Mm, yeah,
right? Isn't that the same way we live life?
yeah.
It's like we could ask questions like, "What? How do I deal with my anxiety?" It's like, yes, yeah, I have to. Some days I get anxious. Some days I wake up on the wrong side of the bed. However you want to frame it. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed, and I am.
Yeah.
But if I did that 3 days in a row, I would need to ask a deeper question of how do I not get here? And so in the teacher learning relationship, you can double click. I love that expression. You could double
Mhm.
click into the thing you just said about the celebrating the win. And in an exchange that's a learning one, is to be in a state of constantly positively reinforcing the progress as kind of an ambient a positive washing of waves over the student brain. You know, these are some fun examples that just come top of the head, top of the mind. It would be like, all right, can you tell me what this point would be on the graph? And they say 5, 3. It's like, it's not 5, 3. Look at it, just try again. And then there's, oh, -5, 3. It's like, okay, very nice. Let the record show I didn't tell you the answer. I just asked you to try again and you got it. So like I point out to the person that I did not tell them the answer, that they were able to do it. Another one is the lifelines. I love lifelines. So you've come X far in the process. I think you can do these relatively independently. I want you to try this problem without me. However, if you have a question, any question in the world, I'm happy to answer them, just like the lifelines on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Mhm.
And there is no limit to the amount of lifelines you get. How many would you like? There's no wrong answer to this question. Oh, they love thinking how many lifelines they want because that's like a little personal challenge, a game. So there's like 2. I'm like, oh, 2, ambitious. Okay, I thought you were going to say 3. Let's go. 2. 2 granted. Go. So it becomes this constant feeding of positive energy prior to getting into that state, to stave off the state, to push it back, like, like a dam. Um, and when we slip into that state, when the dam leaks and breaks, we have to talk about that. So, yes. So, what do we do, right? What do we do? I'm sorry, I don't get this. I'm not understanding. This always happens. I should know this. I should know this.
I used all
I've,
of those sentences, by the
yeah,
way.
yeah, I should know this. So now, when this happens, no more math talk for the foreseeable future. That's it. I should know this. When I hear I should know this, I remind the student that they're judging themselves.
Yeah,
That's a judgment statement.
right.
See how it's like so. I love how it's like obvious to you because you're just like like I
Because
feel so. I know. I love it.
I
I
tell them
love it.
I tell them I don't allow the word should, could, would in my office. It's not allowed. Not
Right.
even the word lazy.
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Because and you can further the reasoning why
Yeah,
it's
it's just
that.
judgmental. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the fact is, and you know this about the human condition.
Hmm.
People are way harder and more judgmental on themselves than on friends or loved ones. It's like, would you say this to someone that you care about? You should know this by now, baby. You should know this. You wouldn't do that. It's like borderline mean.
Yeah, you're
It's
tapping into Christine Neff's work with self-compassion.
yes. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it to someone, so why would you do it to yourself? And so, and then, but after that, there needs to be a cohesive logical reasoning as to why the should word is not applicable.
Hmm.
This happened just recently with someone I was working with. She said, "I should know this. I should know this. I should know this." And I said, "It's very easy to see the 1,000 students ahead of you that know this stuff already. They are highly visible. We all see them. They're and good for them. We're happy for them. But you don't see the 1,000 students behind you that have already given up and will give up for the rest of their lives." You're waving your hand as if that's what happened
Yeah,
to you. Yeah,
absolutely.
right. So we're not aware of these tragedies, the countless faceless tragedies where this is the same person. I'm now talking about you, Mayan, where you had a teacher, tutor that you looked forward to. Think about the significance where math is something you can look forward to.
Hmm.
And you can talk about cabbage and rabbits. This is sensational. And so that's what I reminded her. I said, there are 1,000 people behind you that aren't on your path. You're walking the path, you're putting one foot in front of the other and your feet feel like bricks, but they are moving. Here's evidence. You just did this question right. You did this question right. And so it's actually they we lack perspective as a
Mm.
species. There's an entire social media ramification to this
Oh
where we're
yeah.
comparing ourselves. We can't just see our condition and like, you know what? Today I'm going to be a little better. I wish everyone can feel that way. Today I'm just going to learn a little more. I'm not racing with anyone. I'm racing against myself. Crickets, says the audience, because so many people, especially young people, don't live that way. They don't
Mhm.
operate that way. So they need that perspective jolt. Um, and so all of these are emotionally connective fodder. These are all connecting to, and then we could even offer perspective. I have so been there. I remember these moments specifically as a student more than the good times. I remember this when I just felt like I couldn't get it. And then I think a good protocol for getting back into the learning, much like a detective. Let's say the detective is trying to solve a case and they're on the trail and the trail gets cold. That's what the expression is. The trail gets cold. They're trained to go back in time until the last part where the trail made sense. So to backtrack. So if they're not getting something, the trail got cold, backtrack, rewind the clock to the part where they felt okay with and confirm. Remember, this is the part that you said was 18. You feel comfortable why it's 18? Could you go ahead and explain why this is 18 again? Like, yeah, it's 3 times 6. Like, yes, that's right. That's why it's 18. Okay. So let's talk about the one that's 20. So that's a transition back to where they left off. And that's beautiful because it's not just applicable to math, it's applicable to all arenas.
Absolutely.
So to make the mistake of trying to whack-a-mole when they're in that upset state. No, you don't know. You had it. You had it. Don't just back to the simple stuff, and then we'll get on the ramp again.
It's interesting that you said that because in my line of work, when we do executive functioning support, we're like, okay, so what are tools working for you? How did you do this before that you were able, let me just give you the example that, we get a lot, that you submitted your paper on time or you were able to submit your homework on time.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did you do?
Nice. Right. Right. Reflect on what worked.
Yeah, always and always on the strengths.
That's right.
Because that will take us to the challenge. And we actually have more strengths than challenges. We just see the challenges more often.
Yes, we do. It's a survival mechanism because they're a liability for our survival. It's like we have to focus on the weakness and the challenges because they would undermine our biological need to survive. They're the blind side. Um, so when you have a full crop, you're raising lots of vegetables and it's going well, you don't really sit and marvel at the vegetables. You're often like, what's next? What do I have to do now? Ah!
Unless you
Um,
have rabbits coming and eating your
unless you have
cabbages.
rabbits, right, right. Assuming the vegetables are good to go, assuming they're amazing. And why I love this work so much is that I'm projecting these goals for myself. Of
Yes.
course, I want to do this for myself. And that I get closer to that when I am able to say it with clear eyes to someone a third my age that this is a life lesson. And guess what? I need to do better at this too. So we could focus on this. And if you learn this now, you'll be ahead of me. I mean, that's the thing. The first thing you said before we turned the camera on is no ego. I I I want students and learners everywhere to be so good that they surpass me and all of us. It
Yes.
has to be that. It has to be essentially like work yourself out of a job type of vibe. It's weird, but it's true. It's almost like the best doctors make it so that you don't need them anymore. And I've said this to doctors that work. I'm like, that's why you're awesome.
Yeah.
Because you've healed me, man. You
Yeah. I
know?
don't want to see you again.
Yeah, yeah.
Only at the
right?
grocery store is okay, but
Yeah,
not like in the
yeah,
clinic.
yeah. In spirit, right? In spirit, in that spirit, it's like I want to be so effective, and I want all teachers to be so effective that they pass us, they lap us, and that our only job is just to get out of the way. That's the
Yeah.
last thing to do, is just step aside.
I tell that to them too when they come here. I said, we're not going to be here together forever. And my goal is to fly, little bird, fly. Uh, I
Yeah.
mean, we're looking on like, being independent and do this by yourself with the tools that you have
Yeah.
to support yourself in the future. So, for our listeners, um, can you kind of explain the difference between math anxiety and dyscalculia and how they sometimes intertwined with each
Sure, right.
other?
And you can experience both simultaneously too. So dyscalculia is the dyslexia of math solving, essentially. It's defined as the difficulty in solving and doing math thinking or solving math problems. Um, Whereas dyslexia is specifically to do with reading and language. So they have that parallel. And it's a system of let's say you could count forwards okay, but counting backwards is difficult for you, or skip counting, by six or threes, it would start to have problems. Another example would be a student can see like six plus two equals eight, right? They're comfortable with that. But then if you write eight equals two plus six, right? I see the look on your face. So for the listening audience, let the record beautifully show
I
that
made
that was
eyes, my eyes
that
went
I
all over
did,
the place.
yeah, that I repeated the same math in a different order. I did two numbers that add to eight, six and two, right? We're comfortable with six and two adding to eight, right, Mayan?
Yes,
Six and two add to eight, right?
yes.
Okay, cool. So what if I said eight is the same as two and six?
Yeah,
So good. You see, I just Miyagi'd you. I just did my thing on you and it
you
worked.
ambushed me.
No, dude, I brought you into like my little world. Did you note all
I
the
love it.
pausing? Did you note all the pausing?
Hmm.
Did you note how I checked in with you? And did you note I switched from equals to is? Did you
Yes.
note that? I did that. And then I know I said check in with you on each number. Eight, you know eight, right? Is the same as those same two numbers. So I didn't say the numbers. I just said those same two numbers. And then I switched the order. It was originally I did six, then two, then I did two, then six. Even that was a risk, but I'm doing intonation, two and six and two, kind of give it a little almost sing-song it so you can help hear the difference in order. What a difference in the delivery makes. Because the first thing I said was six plus two equals eight, and eight equals two plus six. Those are technically the same things, but you blanked on it, understandably, beautifully.
But now I see it in my mind. So,
Yeah, now you see it exactly. It's a painting a picture. It's a visual castle.
yeah.
So that's dyscalculia in a nutshell. Um, Whereas math anxiety is actually a brain state that anyone can experience. Let's say it's also very common with people with dyscalculia because it's a human state.
Hmm.
And this, well, yeah, was the subject of my TEDx talk. Was a study by Stanford that Stanford University said that they did brain scans that when the body is in a fight or flight state, when adrenaline is pumping, the rational portions of our brain shut down. Right on.
Hmm.
Like when the amygdala is the reptile, like survive, like kind
Yeah.
of, yeah, um, we experience surges in strength. We're more impervious to pain. Like we don't feel pain as much. We suspend all routine functions like digesting, fingernails and hair growing. All those natural biological regular state functions are suspended because supposedly we're looking at a grizzly bear. That's the body's reaction to looking at a bear. And as such, the brain never developed, understandably, the ability to, or the need to, if imagine you're looking at the grizzly bear. We're going camping. Mayan, let's go camping.
I love going
Oh,
camping.
look at the bear. You see the bear? And we're all hold our breath and look at the bear. And then you feel me tap your shoulder and I hand you here, solve this math equation.
I
Solve
was
this
like,
math.
heck no, I'm looking at
Yeah,
the bear.
solve this factor, this trinomial, please. Yeah, you'd be like, it's not only that you physically can't do it, anatomically, biologically can't do it. Because of that, of course, you'd have a disdain. Like, Robert, get a grip, man. I know you're the math guy, but we have a bigger fish to fry here, bigger bears to stare. So anyone could experience that, and we all do at some point or another. The analogy that I give when I give talks is that imagine you buy a light bulb at the store and you're so excited, and you open it out of the box, and you take it out of the box, and you look at it and you're like, oh, it's not working. There's no light. It's not working. My light bulb's broken. It's like there's no power.
That's why you have light bulbs on your book?
Oh my God, I do now. Thank you. Yeah, there's a light bulb cover on the book. Oh my God, now I do. Well, I do have yeah, I just have affinity for light bulbs. Yeah, it's like what was dark is now light, and so when we're in that state, we can't do math. All of us.
That's
All
true.
of us. And so you could see how they can overlap, but yeah, those are the main differences.
Yeah, we also, also counting with your fingers, all of those things that you're looking on dyscalculia, maybe unable to read time. These are,
Yes, right, right. Yeah, measurements for baking and things like that. Understanding orders of magnitude is another one, like 0 0.1, 0.01, like those things. Yeah, I know that look on your face. I know the look on your face. It helps. I wish we had, paper, whiteboard, but we don't. That's another for another time. But we're just talking about what it is. Are you turning
I'm
red?
gonna be, yeah, yeah,
You're
I'm gonna
turning
be,
red right now.
I'm like, because
Why
I'm
is you
thinking
all
about,
flushed?
because I'm thinking about how many times I need my husband to come with like a paper and a pen and to draw things out for me.
Oh my God, you're having a reaction right now. This is amazing. Shows how deep and important this is, isn't it? I'm
I'm
so
like,
honored.
I'm gonna be a project.
Well, I mean, arguably you're your own project, aren't you? Because you're kind of putting yourself out there. Let the world know, ladies and gentlemen, please take note.
I'm like, I'm just laughing so hard. I'm like,
Mayan
my eyes
Foreign
are.
Glazer, like prolific professional educational therapist who has been around the block, who knows how students feel and can see it coming and knows has all the solutions and can
I
help you
don't have a
figure out
solution.
well, okay. We'll have we'll go to the ends of the earth for the solutions for your
That's true.
situation. We'll fight for you.
That's
We'll
true.
find the problem and elicit the response is not immune to having the same feeling.
No. I, I cannot even hang a picture. Like I cannot even cut straight. And I saw all the time. I asked my
Wow.
sewing teacher to come. My friend, she's also, I'm sorry, I'm like, I laughed so hard that my eyes are like tearing because
Yeah.
you make me laugh so much.
Uh-huh.
My sewing teacher
Yeah.
and listeners, I'm completely honest with you. I have my friend Maki. She's also comes over and she helps me with my sewing. But the reason I asked Maki to come, because now I can sew, no, no, no issues. I need her help to measure
Wow.
when I make. So this is when I make my quilts. I need her help to help me measure, and I need her help to cut. And I say, Maki, I'm paying you so you can cut it the fabric for me. I mean,
Wow. That's so
so
cool.
this is something that this is to our listeners. This is how it impacts your life
Yes.
and why we have to. I never had remediation. And this is why this is so crucial. And I'm so passionate about it. And you're right, Robert. I will fight for my students. I will go to the end of the world for them and people who works with me and my colleagues. Um, and the people in my team know that I will do everything that I can for my client because I know what it is like. And I know what it
Yes.
is like when you're not being remediated.
Yep.
So an early intervention is the key to success, always. And this is how my learning disability affects me. But this is not a podcast about me. We can do another one about me, but I'm not
Mhm.
that excited about
I
it.
think it was important to put, I think it was important to put out there that you were having a moment that is very common with students.
Yeah,
I gave you two numbers that are decimals. And you
you're
even saw
killing
that
me,
I
man.
had, yeah, I just gave you, I just put as an example, you even asked, you saw it coming. What are some guideposts or symptoms of dyscalculia? And I'm like, here's one. And you like actually felt something. So
That was
it
somatic.
shows. Yeah, it exactly. It came to the surface and it just shows how pervasive this is and how important it is and how dealing with it is really important and um and we all we're all on the same team on this regard. It's not like it's an us versus them thing. You just demonstrated that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we have to be there for the parents, for the teachers. So let me ask you, in the classroom setting, what teachers might notice that could point on learning disability with math?
I would look for very um let's say socio-cultural cues. Let's say standoffishness, defensiveness, starting with those, being checked out, um, misplaced humor that's not in flow with the lesson. These are all like you think of protective measures,
Yeah,
uh, things to divert or hide what may be a sneaking suspicion that something is amiss. Let's say something is not being diagnosed or at least dealt with, addressed something. And it doesn't even need to be, let's say, a learning or a processing diagnosis. It could just be a student is severely behind for various reasons, something going on at home. There's so many things that could be affecting learning, but these types of reactions are common or the common thread. Um, Too cool for school is one. Disenchantment, checked out. So that's one. And then as far as the learning goes, anything that would deter from the learning to keep it of what like I only write better with pen, Mr.
mm,
Adut. Like, okay, where's your pen? I don't have one.
hmm,
Like that. It's like so that's like there's two volleys sent right there. One is I'm that person that refuses to do pencil and math. I'm the pen person. Okay, fine. Let's do benefit of the doubt. I accept that. Yes. Maybe you like the way the pen feels and you want to have that agency. You want to write with pen with math. Oh yeah. You're like what are you? Like kind of a adventurist, you want to commit to ink. I love it. Let's go.
commit to ink.
Yeah, you want to do it. You want to ride on the wild side. You don't want to have the ability to race. Okay, so where's your pen? I don't have one. So it's two possible indicators. Um, and then the response also is just to have a dialogue, and get them to a place where hopefully the relationship is one of trust, and then that those layers, those protective shields will start to crumble. I know, Mr. Dude, this is just so hard. I don't get this. I don't know. I can't do this stuff. This always happens. That's the beginning of the solution.
What about the
That's the
quiet ones that just like don't understand the
ah
concept because they will
right.
fly under the radar?
Right on. Good job. There are the quiet ones. Yes, you're right. The squeaky wheels get the grease too often. The quiet ones are there. We have to tune into the students. I mean, the expert teachers when they transition from keeping an eye on the clock to keeping an eye on the kids, that's how you know if You know, if you just tune in, there's a state that you can get into where you tune in. It's much like being aware of the way a fire is burning or how waves are crashing on the beach. You can look at a student for several minutes, 2, 3 minutes in a row, and know if they're quiet engaged or quiet disengaged. You can tell. And if you can't, ask. You could say, just make up a name. Hey, John, how's this going for you? Oh, good, good. Like just like, holds the pencil up. I'm good. Blah 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 blah. Working. Okay, you're in the zone. Versus John, how's this going? What? Um,
Mhm.
I'm good. Are you able to? Can I look at how you're doing with number three? And you come over, and then if they haven't even started, it's like then you won't say that publicly. You get quiet, like, "Oh, are you having trouble?" Like you come in real close,
Mhm.
as opposed to like, "You haven't started this," like louder for the class to hear, which would be a shame thing, inadvertently. So really, just tuning in and being there and understanding that that's happening, and then starting to have a conversation about it. It has to start with showing them that we care.
Yeah.
That is the number one thing that students surveys show. A survey shows Gallup poll, 2000 Gen Zers ranked the top importance of the teacher is that they feel that the teacher cares about them. That was the
Yeah.
number one response. And I was like, yes, this is bread and butter. This is exactly what they crave. And so I would just limit it to that. I'd like tune into the student and start to have a dialogue about it.
So I'm gonna circle back to what we started the conversation in, because we talked
Yeah.
about somatic. Because if a child doesn't understand the concept, how do you teach it through the body? Because I'm really interested. Because we do
Oh,
multisensory,
yes.
so
Yes.
love it. If you can
Yes,
share
yes.
a
The
little bit
the
about that.
body is just so one of the difficulties of dyscalculia, not to bring this back to you, like if I have don't worry, it's not about you, is the word problems, right? So word problems are big. A lot of word problems are stories, and stories can be played out in the body. So there's the image that we could do, and then there's actual things we could do. Like an image would be, let's say there's a word problem about a plane flying with headwind or tailwind, and so the headwind makes the plane slower, and the tailwind makes it faster. So students need to understand this on an intuitive level. So I'll ask them, have you ever been, let's say, at the airport and there's the moving walkways and you walk on the walkway where it's supposed to be and you feel like you're just zooming along? And then sometimes for fun, if no one's around, you'll turn around. Have you ever done that? I'll ask them. Have you ever turned around and gone the opposite direction and you maybe have to start running to get through to the other side? So this idea of speeds adding versus speeds subtracting together. So they understand that they feel it,
I love it. Yeah.
and then so much of math is visual. So
Mhm.
much is visual, and so if you're graphing a line. And it's really fun on Zoom because it's backwards. So I have to be like the perfect yoga instructor where left means right for me, but not for them. I do this so well now at this point because if they hold up their left hand, I know they're holding up their right hand for them. So I'll say, "Show me what that line looks like. Like, hold it up with your arm. Hold it," and they'll hold it up. I'll be like, "Yes. What would this look like?" And then so they'll do an entire, it almost looks like a karate lesson where they'll have a horizontal arm. I'm doing it
Oh,
for
I
you.
love it. Yeah.
Horizontal arm, vertical arm, diagonal arm, you know? And then other graphs that are curvy, like show me with your hands what it looks like. Draw it in the air. Draw it in the air. And they'll like do a little flick. Yeah, they'll do the thing like right, the motion that you did was the
Wave,
because I
what did I
talked about
do?
it with no, you did this thing, everyone will know what this is. When you drive by the car wash place or the oil change place, the big the airflow dude that's like if you blow air in it and it just keeps kind of
Yeah.
swaying in the air, with the air fan under it, the tube. They do that with their arms. And also it looks like the Karate Kid from back in the day, like now show me paint the fence, side, like that. Or that was up down. So I was like, show me a graph that's positive and even. And they're uncomfortable at first, but they'll actually hold, and I'll say, yes, right arm up, left arm down, correct. So I'll bolster and if they're resistant, I say, learn through the body
Yeah.
and get through the self-consciousness, learn through. And then I'll back it up with words, right arm up, left arm down. And so eventually they won't even need to write it. They'll end up doing it all within their body and in their mind. Picture walking the wrong way on the walkway. Picture feeling slow. Do you feel like you're slower? Now let's do the next sentence. Picture walking the right way on the walkway. There's so many body level tactics that they can do, up versus up and down, left and right. There's so many ways. So those are
Um,
some examples. Yeah.
yeah, so you can totally use the technique that we use, uh, for everything with experiencing the world is how um, we remember. And I just
Yes.
told
Yeah.
about it to my client the other day because I love Gretchen, if you're listening, I love your work.
Hmm.
Gretchen Wagner's work with the study cycle, her anti-boring approach to learning. And she's an executive functioning specialist. And one of the things that she does is like, how do we learn in a way that we can remember the information? And this
Hmm.
also goes back to like multisensory approach for
Yeah.
learning when we teach dyslexia remediation is that all we want to use more than one sense in order to remember the information. And this is what makes it stick.
Yes.
So if we're just reading, we're just using our eyes, maybe our hands because we're holding the book or the Kindle, whatever
Sure.
and hopefully you don't hold your computer like this.
No,
But
no, no. Hmm.
but if you are reading and annotate or do sketch notes, or you will remember it better if you teach it to somebody else, like you said at the beginning, when you have this dialogue and you start talking about it, you even remember even more. So we want to use, because you're hearing, you're saying, you are touching, you're seeing. So we want to use the senses to teach it, and also the engagement, right? So engagement, like we keep saying
Right.
this over and over again because learning needs to be fun, and it needs to be
Yes.
like you said, curiosity and asking questions and um, argue, right? Argue why it is what it is, and
Hmm.
use your critical
Hmm.
thinking, and not just, especially nowadays, without getting into politics, we have to use critical thinking. And another thing that is really important is that when we visualize, and if you cannot visualize, when you draw a picture of it, I always tell students, picture worth 1,000 words. Why do we say that? Why?
Yeah.
Because we remember it better. We see pictures before we say the words. And if we
Yeah.
cannot see the picture, because there are people who cannot see pictures, we can draw them. So, and this is how it goes back to the memory and also playing games.
Yeah.
I already made 2 segments about games and why games are a great way to work on those skills, whether those are math games that can also enforce not just those drills and, memory and all those can be very boring, right? When you do it on a piece of paper, but the practices, but also use your executive functioning to, especially if you're working with teams, and I do, and this is another point that I wanted to mention, and we didn't discuss it, but many times I work with fast exceptional students. Those are kids that are very gifted,
Hmm.
and but they have challenges with the executive functioning.
Right.
Most of the work that I do is, like I mentioned before, is for writing and reading comprehension.
Hmm.
But because most of my clients are very gifted when it comes to math and science. But
Hmm.
here is what will catch them is the executive functioning when it comes to word problems that are long and they need to
Right.
stop and to estimate and to do all these kind of things. And many of them trying to do it in their heads because it works for them. It's their
Yeah.
mental math, it's their superpower. But there is much we can remember um, to do this kind of work in our mind. We have to pause and think and kind of break it down into the steps of what we need to do.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Like that is the task of the executive functioning model. Yeah. Is to make them bite-sized, like you said before. Yeah.
Yeah. And we see that a lot with kids that are ADHD, but they are very, very, strong in math. And here we have, in high school or middle school, we have a math test and or they have a math problem and they just don't know how to break it.
Yeah. 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 That's right. Yeah, they rely too much on memory. They think I don't remember this stuff would be a common concern. It's like that's also fine. That's true in a sense, but let's break down memory into tools and strategies that are applicable to all problems, not just remembering what to do. The cutting edge models for math learning is to removal of steps. Step one, blah 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 blah. Step two, da 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 da. Step three, da da da. Like a lot of the books actually are this, and the newer editions are moving away from this,
Yeah, I noticed.
where like because you could have a bright student just understand patterns and have a strong working memory about applying various steps. But that's like building the same IKEA drawer 5 times in a row. You'll be good at that drawer without the instructions, even because you don't need the instructions. Step one, do this. Step two, do that. But to an extent, are you learning how to be someone who understands crafts well? Are you able to build your own drawer from raw materials? No.
Mhm.
Um, so getting away from, you know, uh, subjective, empty, non-resonant steps and into ownership of lots of different interconnected thoughts that add up to an entire math thinking brain is the mountaintop.
I could not even say it better than you.
Thank you.
We are like gonna wrap up very soon,
Great.
but
Yeah.
there is something that I want to talk a little bit about your book, and
Okay.
there are a
Thank
few
you.
things that I noticed is that you use a lot of different language, and you did that with me with the
Mm.
8 and 6 and
Hmm.
two. I forgot the two.
You're on to me. You're on to me.
Yeah, the language piece.
Yeah.
And I thought this is so strong. And I love it that you did it like in your, I think it was in the first chapters about um taking the judgment away. And you have so many great examples of case studies that some of it I was like, what is he talking about? Because of my dyscalculia. When I was like
Hmm.
really trying to be like, okay, don't try to understand the problem here, the word
Right.
problem that
Right.
Robert is saying, just try to
Good
understand
job.
what he's trying to say. So just what he's trying to say. So um, there are a few things that um, I really enjoyed about it is one of them is um, and to those who has the book, and if you don't, please buy it, is
Hmm.
that page 30 um, you say when you offer one-on-one, um, you're giving like two differences between two similar one-on-one offers. Let me show you how, and may I show you how?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is for all of us that work one-on-one, is super duper important. Do you mind just to share with our, I know I'm kind of
Sure.
ambushing you about
No,
the
no.
language,
That
but
you picked a
it's
great passage. That's a really, yeah,
language is so important.
yeah. The This gets to the heart of a contradiction in learning. Like there's a contradiction deep embedded within the learning dynamic is that teachers, educators, whatever, people like in our position, We have all the power because we have all the knowledge, and the students don't. And so there's a power imbalance inherent in the relationship. But everyone would agree that the best state for a student to learn is to feel empowered. If we want our students to feel empowered and we have all the power going in, it's our job to give it back to them. It's our job to cede control, to push it back across the table towards them. And so, if there is a moment of teaching that's upon us and we want to teach them something, we want to show them something, if we say, let me show you, it just reinforces the fact that I'm running the show, baby. This is my show. So I'm the conductor. You just play the violin when I tell you, you know? Versus if you say, right, I'm glad this is happening. Can I show you how to solve this problem? There's a difference between let me show you and may I show you? Can I show you? Because now they actually can reflect, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready for you to tell me what the answer to this is. You're actually, that permission is a form of deference. We're being deferential. Um, I want you to feel like you're running the show here. I want you to feel like this is on your program. In a sense, we're humbling ourselves to give power back really implicitly. The beautiful thing is they have no idea that what the effect that is on them. May I show
Mhm.
you? They just feel it's like, oh, it's like a little comfortable. It's breaking this cycle of like, I hired someone to tell, or I'm at my teacher at lunch. My teacher needs to tell me the things. Go ahead and tell me the thing. I don't know it. That's why I'm here. And you feel like that kind of bowing your head type of yes, do whatever you like, where you're just giving deference all the time. That's the student vibe often. Well, we want them to feel straight backs, light eyes, fully empowered. And the way to do that is almost put ourselves at their service. May I show you how to do this? And when they affirm, then they're now committed. They're in. And so that's just one example, right, in there. I'm so appreciative that you understand that. The education therapist, like you get me. You just get me. Mayan, that's why I think you invited me on is because you understand you understand me on such a deep level, and I couldn't feel more appreciative or honored for that because that means I get you. I mean, yeah. And so understanding the nuance in that language offering is the heart and soul of what we do. And so I appreciate that you brought it up.
Thank you. I think communication and this goes with like the way that we work too, no matter what we do, is that we tell our clients, you're in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
We are just here to guide you. And with even with GPS, we're gonna make mistakes. You know how many times I take the wrong turn?
Yeah, I did. I did recently. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, totally.
It happens. I mean, it happens. And it's about how do I get back to the same road, right? So I do like this. Um, there is one more quote that I said,
Yeah.
you told me not to tell you. So what I chose.
Yeah,
And this
sure.
is absolutely one of my favorites. And
Thank
this
you.
is from chapter 2. And I quote, people have a fundamental right to grow safely as learners at their own rhythm. So we must provide them with the room to do so. I have goosebumps. This resonates with me so much.
Yeah. 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 Space. That's the chapter on space. Yeah. I'm very sensitive overall. I'm a sensitive person. When I was a new parent, my daughter was first born, just learning to walk, between 1 to 2 years old. I have a very loud, large family, extended family, and they all mean well. They meant well, but they would see a little kid, for example, and they would do like do 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 and put their finger in her belly button, just like kind of playing with her navel because she's so cute and everything. And she's physically shrinking away. And if I could go back, I handled it with a little immaturity, I'll say, because what I did as a result, as I was like, look, she's not into it, dude, like to an uncle or something. And so what I would do is I would grab a chair, stand on top of the chair to make myself way taller than this uncle, and then I would play with his belly button. Do 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 do. Do you like this? Do 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 do. Like I was so upset for this little child who's physically having her space kind of invaded against her will, no permission, nothing, no out of the blue too, by the way. It wasn't even like, "Hi, get to know you. Let's start a little dynamic, and then I'm coming into for a tickle." That would be a different thing. I would just say, "She's not into this. Let's not play with her belly button right now." As much as you don't want to be played with yours unannounced. The reason I handled it so immaturely is that I was so kind of viscerally affected when you get invade people's space. And space is both physical and it's psychological, emotional. We need space to learn. We need space to discover. We need space to make mistakes in safety.
Mhm.
We need to feel like we have air around us, figuratively, to think and reflect. And so um, I know when that is being robbed. I feel it. I feel it when I'm talking to someone. And so I'm constantly working to add air into that dynamic to create more space, push the walls out and the ceiling, break open the ceiling to the sky. No walls. Now let's skip around in this field of space where we can learn. And so it becomes, to your point about the quote, it becomes a mantra is that no one can learn and no one can feel comfortable without space to do so. And so, yeah, inherent in all those sayings like, there's no wrong answer, or whatever you're about to say, I'm interested to know, or it's okay if you don't know this, right? These are all getting back to this. Have you talked about this in class yet? It's okay if you haven't. I'll do that. Um, like, this is something, right? Okay. So we talked about this last week. Did you know that human beings generally require three pass-throughs to become proficient in something? Generally three, could be more. So this is the second time we're talking about it, so we're good. We'll talk about it this time, maybe one more time, and then after that, totally fine too. But just letting you know that human beings require three exposures to become proficient. So they have permission. Ah, okay, because I didn't remember it. This is the second time. I'm good. I'm good. I'm okay. I have space. I'm not being judged. I'm not being persecuted. I don't feel bad. I'm in the rules. I'm in the frame. I could still learn this later. And guess what? I'll probably even remember it before the third one. So the third one comes and it won't it won't be a problem. Everything, every energy is inherent on creating space for the student. And I didn't know you were bring that's I didn't know you bring that quote up, but thank you for doing that.
I loved it. I just loved it because it's so important, and we all have take a different time to master a skill, and it just we need to give ourselves the compassion.
Yes, we do. Right. Yeah. Space is a form of compassion. Bravo. That's a beautiful way to an emotional synonym of space. It
Oh my gosh,
is.
Robert, I could have like talked with you forever, but poor
Same.
listeners, they'll be like,
Yeah,
"Stop
no.
babbling,
Yeah.
finish the
Yeah.
podcast."
Well, yeah, if you're still listening, right? Reach out to either of us. Clearly,
Yeah.
we love talking shop. We have a lot to offer. Um, since I'm on Mayan's show, you know where to find her. And if you want me to come over, if you're at this point still listening, you're either related to me or you get it.
Or you're listening
Yeah.
it at 2x.
Oh yeah, yeah. So reach out to me, and I would love to continue dialogues with you. I would love to come to your conference or school. I would love that. I would love that honor. Talk to your teachers, offer any sort of wisdom to help elevate overall practice. Because to do so, we're benefiting the students, and for that, I make no apologies. I would be happy and honored to do that. So thank you for getting this far in the show. I enjoyed this talk with you so much, Mayan. It's up to snuff. I knew it would go like this. So thank you for this chance
It's so
to
funny
to
because
connect with you.
thank you. I had so many questions and I maybe used two.
Yeah, right. That's how it
Entire thing
goes.
because it's like
That's the
okay, we're
way.
so like talking and it's like so much fun. So thank you so much.